Hi ladies, I'm Max of MaxiGreen.com, and I'm a writer, a speaker, a spiritual life coach, a yoga teacher, Justin's cousin, a mother of twins, and a lifelong seeker of love. I'm also the creator of Nice Girl No More coaching program, where I help women who live to give get over the need to please and learn how to give with joy without feeling guilty. So I'm here in spirit, sorry I couldn't be there in person, to take you through the 6 steps to getting over the need to please. And since my time is limited, I'm going to jump right in. So the first step is to know our enemy. Understand what we mean when we talk about people pleasing. So what is people pleasing? Very simply, it's when you always say yes when you really want to say no. But it's not just about nice people trying to make everybody happy. When you have the disease to please, you have this uncontrollable need for the approval of others, and it becomes an addiction for you. And so you, even against your better judgment, just sort of like compulsively say yes to things that you know you don't want to do, that aren't good for you, because you need to get love and approval from other people because you haven't learned how to get it for yourself. Why are we like this? People pleasers are afraid of what I like to call the icky feelings, and so they'll go along with pretty much anything to avoid them. Now, there are a lot of icky feelings, but the main culprits are fear of rejection. You're afraid to voice your opinion because you're afraid that people will reject who you are. Fear of disappointing others. Seeing other people being disappointed in them makes people pleasers feel badly about themselves. Fear of criticism. People pleasers see criticism of their actions as an attack on their self-worth. They're not able to distinguish between someone being displeased with something that they did or didn't do and someone being displeased with them as a person. Fear of loneliness. Because people pleasers are wired to believe that people are only going to be around them and love them or like them when they do things for others, they need to keep doing things for other people so that they can feel like they fit in and feel like they'll continue to be included as long as they keep doing things for other people. And fear of guilt. Saying no to people makes people pleasers feel really guilty, and they really don't like that feeling, so they just do what other people want. So one thing that people ask me a lot is how did I get this way? And it shouldn't surprise you to know that people pleasing comes from your childhood, because that's where everything comes from, right? Somehow as a child, we learned from our parents or our caregivers that we had to earn love and approval and acceptance through the things that we do. And our little kid brains turn that into an equation of like, to please for care and care for other people equals good things happen equals how to avoid failure and rejection. And so our minds create what's called survival stories that protect us from uncomfortable situations and icky feelings. And over the time, the more we repeat this pattern of pleasing people equals love and acceptance, so that's what I'm going to do all the time, the more you repeat that pattern, the more your brain becomes wired this way. Saying yes means good things happen and everyone will love me. Saying no means letting people down and no one will love me. So we're conditioned from an early age that in order to avoid those icky feelings at any cost, we use niceness and people pleasing as a defense. And the longer we're wired that way, the harder it is for us to even realize that we're doing it, and therefore the harder it is for us to stop it. Another thing people ask me a lot is, how do I know if I'm a people pleaser or am I just a nice person? So there's a really easy test for that. A genuinely nice, healthy person does things for others and is happy to do it, but she has no problem asking for help and knowing that she deserves help when she needs it. A people pleaser, on the other hand, will do anything for anybody but is completely mortified by the idea of asking for help. And if you do accept help, like somebody ties you down and forces you to accept help, they will break their necks to make up for the inconvenience that they've caused by being helped by someone, because they just can't stand the idea of anybody else doing anything for them. So if that sounds familiar, congratulations, you're probably a people pleaser. So buckle up. I'm going to take you on a crash course in getting over the need to please. So step 2 in getting over people pleasing is the key mindset shifts. To get over the need to please, there are 2 sort of fundamental mindset shifts you have to make. And it can be uncomfortable to get on board with a new way of thinking, and you'll probably backslide a bit, especially in the beginning before you can really rewire your brain. But these mindset shifts are key. If you're not open to them, you won't be able to make a change. So the first and most fundamental mindset shift is the idea that you have to earn love. This is really the core false belief in a people pleaser. You have these ideas in your head like, I need love and approval from others. I need a reason to say no. I have to earn love. People will be good to me if I'm good for them. Those ideas are all bullshit. Sorry for the swears, but I'm going to say it again. It's all bullshit. As a human being, you are worthy of love, just as you are. You could never lift a finger to help another person for the entire rest of your life, and you would still be worthy of love, of consideration, of care, of respect, of compassion, because who you are is valuable, and you don't have to give or serve in order to be worthy of love. That's key. And it can be hard to get behind that because it's pretty much the exact opposite of what we're taught as women. You know, we are constantly being told that we have to be attractive, we have to be educated, in shape, have good hair and fat asses, and be great mothers and have successful careers and all of that for us to be worthy. But it's not true. We're all worthy just as we are, and you have to know that. So you have to really commit to rewiring those false beliefs. So it becomes, I need love and approval, becomes, I deeply love and accept myself. I need a reason to say no, turns into, I have the right to choose what I do. I have to earn love becomes, I deserve love simply for who I am. And people will be good to me if I'm good to them becomes, I'm not in control of how other people behave. And you have to hold on to those thoughts and remind yourself of them all the time until it becomes sort of your native way of thinking. Now, the other key mindset shift is getting over the idea that doing things for people is not a big deal. People pleasers love this excuse because we've trained ourselves to believe that it's easier to just say yes to everything than to say no. But let me tell you right now, it's not. Think of it like this. Every time someone asks you for something that you don't want to give, or to do something that you don't want to do, or to fix a problem that's not yours to fix, or to sacrifice yourself in some way to benefit them, imagine that they're taking a big old bite of flesh out of you. Just imagine them biting like a big hole in your arm right here. And so once you do it, even if they're grateful and they love you and they're giving you all the approval and the acceptance that you're craving, that's just a Band-Aid, right? Like, that's not replacing the chunk of flesh that they took out of your arm. It's just stopping the bleeding. And so the more you allow people to bite giant chunks of flesh out of you, the less there is of you to say, no, I don't want to. I don't have time to. I have other things to do. The more you allow yourself to be taken advantage of, the harder it is to stop doing it. So once you decide to do it and to get over the idea that doing stuff for people is not a big deal, think of everything that everyone asks you to do as a huge deal, as something that you're not only giving away to other people, but as something you're taking away from yourself. That helps you to have a basis right at the beginning to say no. Like I said, people pleasers feel like they need a reason. There's a reason. It's not costing you nothing. It's costing you something. So you have to reframe it in that way, so that way, even if you're not able to say no right away, you can at least have a framework to think it over when somebody asks you to do something instead of just automatically saying yes. Step 3, understanding yourself. Many people pleasers have been so impressionable for so long that they don't have a clear identity. Their whole lives are so dictated by other people's wants and needs that they've completely lost sight of their own path, of who they are and what they want out of life. And that, to me, is the saddest and most tragic part about being a people pleaser, that nobody ever really gets to know you. You never show people your true self, your true feelings. Nobody knows what you really like, what you really feel. You move through life with this mask on, and nobody ever gets to see the person behind it. And sometimes you yourself don't even realize that there is a person behind it. And, you know, we are all created to be these beautiful, unique individuals. And by you living this persona as a people pleaser and not allowing the world to see your true self, there's a lack. There's a lack, and there's a hole in the world that can only be filled with your true self. So when you decide to overcome the need to please, we're busting through that persona of, yeah, everything's fine, sure, no problem. So you can be your true self, because the world needs that. And so you have to marinate on that. You have to ask yourself, who am I really? What do I believe in? What do I stand for? You have to start to think about who you could be if you could just be yourself. And you have to get really clear on who that person is, what she stands for, what's important to her. Because when you're stuck in the cycle of people pleasing, you don't have that firm foundation. You don't have that firm identity as a self-actualized person. So your priorities are everybody else's priorities. Everyone else tells you what's urgent, what's important, what should be done. Because you don't know yourself, you don't have a unique value system where you can say, no, I'm not okay with this. I'm not participating in this. And you don't have that strong vision for yourself, so you can say, no, I don't have time for this. I'm trying to accomplish this or that. This action is in service with my vision for my life, so I can't do it. Avi, go upstairs, please.
I don't want to.
Okay, well then go sit down and be quiet.
Okay, yeah.
And so to stop people pleasing, you have to stop allowing yourself to be so influenced by what everyone else wants and their priorities. You have to have a firm grasp on yourself and your own identity so that now you have a compass internally that you can use to decide whether or not you want to do something, rather than just allowing everybody else's needs to dictate what you do. Step 4, fall in love with saying no. Now that you have a firm identity with which to govern your actions, and you're no longer afraid of the icks, you can be clear on your intentions when you say yes or no, or even when you offer to do something for people. Avi, quiet, please. You can base your decisions on your own needs, your own values, and your own desires. And once you're clear on your values and your vision for your life, people's reactions no longer affect your self-image or your self-worth, because you're not crafting an identity as being a person who is loved by other people. You now have an identity of your own, and so you don't need other people's approval to bolster yourself anymore. You can bolster yourself. So now you decide what you're going to do, based on whether or not it's alignment with your intentions and your values. Once you start to know yourself and love yourself, and you learn to get your approval and your acceptance from within, saying no is no longer scary, because now you're impervious to other people's reactions. And so once you get into that spot, you have to really think about it's time to take the pledge and start saying no. And you have to kind of reframe what you're really saying. When you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. So it's not like you're avoiding no, you're just pointing it in the wrong direction. So in the past, you might have thought it was not a big deal that you're denying yourself time or space or mental energy because you're giving it to other people, because back then you probably didn't really have much going on. And so it was no skin off your back to sacrifice your own emotional energy in service of somebody else's life. But now that we begin to see that, at the very least, the time that you spend in service of other people is time that you're actually taking away from yourself and what's important to you, it's also just chipping away at your own identity as a human being with your own needs and your own wants and your own desires, and that's not nothing, that's taking a toll. It's time to start really falling in love with the word no. And you have to hammer it. When I go through this process with clients, I give them an entire day where they have to say no to every single thing anybody asks from them. Now, unless it's something that's going to harm their children, the answer is no. And so now, because your brain is it's set up that you can allow yourself to consider saying no, now you're going to say it all the time. Yes is no longer in your vocabulary anymore. It's no, or I need to think about it. You just have to go like ham on the nose so that you break the reflex of always automatically saying yes. So you're going to go through this period of time where it's no, 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 no to every single thing. It's going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. People are going to look at you like you're crazy, but you have to do it. And then you move on to step 5, which is practice pushing back. So once you've gone through step 4 and now you are a pro at saying no, it's time to bring the balance back. It's time to integrate some of the real personality back into the mix. Because remember, as a people pleaser, you're a genuinely nice person. Avi, stop talking, please. Thank you. Remember, you're a genuinely nice person and you genuinely want to help. The problem was that it got out of hand and we allowed ourselves to be railroaded. So now in stage 5, saying no is not an experiment. It becomes part of your repertoire of answers. But in step 5, you're also learning to frame the conversation in a way that works to your advantage. So you're saying, so sometimes people ask you to do something that isn't really a huge deal for you, but it's not something you can do right now. But as a people pleaser, you always reflexively say yes. Now you can say, yeah, I can help, but not right now. Or you can say, yes, I can do it, but, and you set up the parameters in a way that doesn't kill your spirit. You say, I'd like to help you, but I'm not sure I have the time. Let me see what I can do. Or you can say, let me think about it, or let me talk it over with my partner. It's practice pushing back is all about kind of engineering these conversations in a way that it's possible for you to give an honest answer. And you can also learn to sort of safeguard for yourself against your triggers. So for example, a lot of people have a problem, even, seasoned former people pleasers or people who never were people pleasers in the first place have a hard time saying no right to somebody's face. It's hard. You feel put on the spot. And so when somebody comes out and asks you directly on the spot to do something, you can say, let me think about it, or let me check my calendar or whatever, and I'll shoot you a text. And now you've moved the conversation to a venue where you're comfortable, and where you're comfortable giving an honest answer rather than saying yes because you feel put on the spot. You see what I mean? So this stage is all about kind of finding the balance between wanting to help and wanting to protect your own interests. Step 6, welcome to healthy assertiveness. Now, I have to tell you that once you begin to grow and heal, there will be people in your life who react badly. These are the people who have been capitalizing on your doormatness for years.
What are you reading?
Abby, just a minute, please. Or people who love to see you acting like a doormat because it made them feel okay about themselves or gave them a chance to look down on you. This is one of the most painful parts of this journey, is that you will realize that there are people in your life who are using you and who are taking advantage of you. Okay, off you go, please. And so as you start, Avi, go please. As you start to heal and push back and say no, they're going to be pissed off about it. There are going to be people who are going to try to intimidate you back into that nice girl box. And it's not going to be like, you do this to me or else. That's easy to say no to. It's going to be like, oh, you're so mean now. Or, God, you're such a bitch. Or, you don't care about me. You don't have time for me. Or, oh, you think you're better than everybody now. You're on your high horse now. And I mean, that's the time where you're going to have to stand firm, because those survival stories that you've been holding on to since childhood are going to kick in, and your instinct is going to be, oh no, I've disappointed someone. I must drop everything to fix this problem. Asher, I need a minute, please. Just sit down on the couch, okay? I need a minute. Sorry, guys. That's going to be your instinct, and it's going to be tough sometimes, especially at first, to remember that I don't need approval from others. I approve of myself. It's not my job to caretake for the entire world. You're going to have to remember that love that comes with a price tag is not the kind of love that you want. But you know what? It gets easier, and the more you do it, and the more you say no, and the more you stand firm in your no, and you see that the sky didn't fall down because you said no, the better you're going to feel. And soon you're going to be only doing things for people because you want to, and not because you feel like that's your job in life. So in this phase, you have to be ready to allow the people who don't support your growth to naturally fade away. This makes room in your life for the people who do support your growth and who inspire you to grow even more. If you stand firm in your path, the people in your life who only ever wanted a doormat to walk all over are going to get bored and fade away. And you're going to be able to let that because you will have learned that that's their stuff, right? It's not about you. And so while the old you would have wanted to drop everything to win those people back into your life, the new you is going to be okay with letting go of people who just wanted a people pleaser around to do their bidding. And that's going to be fucking amazing. So there you go. That's your crash course in 6 steps to letting go of the need to please. I really hope you found it helpful, and I'm really sorry that I'm not there to ask questions. But for those of you who want to dig a little deeper into it, I'm offering you a free session with me to all of Casey's guests tonight. So if you go to maxigreen.com/Cassandra, you'll be able to download a transcript of my talk as well as book your free session with me. Thanks, ladies. Enjoy the rest of your night. Happy holidays. Wave bye, Asher. Bye.
Mommy.